8 seconds will be starting, so get ready.
I've been ready nervously.
Hello, everybody, and we are live. I am here with Vicki Assevero from Green Market Trinidad and in Trinidad and Tobago, a fellow Caribbean woman, and it's a pleasure being with you all. We have a good critical mass of folks here present, who are ready to learn about what you have to talk to us. Vicki, how are you feeling today?
I'm feeling really wonderful. We had a big downpour, drops like buckets of rain, but now the sun is out again and it's really hot. And I'm
That's the
so
beauty of
excited.
living in the Caribbean.
It is for the beauty and the ugliness too. So we heard a lot of flooding already, and that's something
Oh
that
no.
deeply affects the farmers at the green market. But I would like to start by thanking 17 Asset Management and FAO for organizing this. It's so important to have these conversations and to talk about the potential synergies and catalysts that we can be when we're working together. So, Heather, if I can just ask you to put the slide up on the screen, I'm just going to run through these slides and leave a lot of time for questions. Um, but I want to introduce people to the Green Market in Santa Cruz. We are a 10-year-old social enterprise.
That's
And
fantastic.
yes, it is. We celebrated our 10th anniversary last November.
That's quite a
Are the
milestone.
Yes, are the slides up? Not yet. I'm not seeing them.
Not yet. I think Heather is getting them up.
Oh,
But possibly what you can do, if you could talk to us a little bit about what Green Market is and where did you get
yes,
started as the slides get on board. Does that work?
right. So I would part of this is actually in the presentation, so I will be able to skip over it. But the green market is a social enterprise. One of the first problems is that we don't really have the legislation for social enterprises and B Corps in the Caribbean. So that's an important advocacy issue, that if you are trying to get investors and you are not talking about a straight up commercial venture, then we need to have some space for venture philanthropy, as it's called sometimes, in the hope that these investments will pay back. They do pay back in impact, that's for sure, and they pay back in individual development of these, what I call micro enterprises. I don't even call them SMEs at this point. Some of them are so small. Okay, so that's our logo. You'll see things growing and hummingbirds. And so that's the first slide. Let me go to the next slide. And this is a slide which shows the vendors, some of the vendors in the green market. Up at the top, you see Rina and Rafiq. They have Cocoa Dreams. They transform cocoa beans into lotions and soaps and other kinds of products, including the cocoa nuts and different things like that that are related to cocoa. So they are already up the value chain, and they've been very successful. They come into the green market. Now they have markets of people in Canada and the United States. The next person there, I think, is Malika, and she also was transforming local products into soaps and lotions. And then you have on the left-hand side of the screen, Moringa, which is actually a nutraceutical and something I would really like to see further developed in the Caribbean. One of the previous panelists spoke about the need to link some of these small and micro efforts to the larger research efforts. I mean, it's kind of scandalous that I go to the United States and can buy papaya in a tablet, pawpaw in a tablet, for antiviral, and I can't do that. I mean, I can eat the papaya and eat the seeds, but it's true that we don't have the rigorous research to know the dosing. So those are just three examples of the kind of people in the market. And I want to make another point about these people. They are there, most of them with some family member. So these are family enterprises as well. So you don't have, in terms of employing other people, which is often a criteria for investment. These are family members. So they work as a family, and we found that that is largely the case of the green market. So next slide, please.
And mostly women. Also.
Yes, absolutely. Not altogether, because if I look at our farmers, I would say it's half and half, half and half. But in the transformative area, that initial, go back one slide. Yes, this is an important slide because Richard Bloom, UNDP here in the Caribbean, and he said this, and it's worth saying: the UN believes that the private sector, and in particular social enterprises, are fundamental stakeholders in delivering the Sustainable Development Goals, linking social, environmental, and economic action. The green market in Trinidad and Tobago is a fantastic model of such a social enterprise in action. Now, what's important about what he said is that we are talking about a different economic model. And so in the conference, which is about people investing in agriculture, we have to know that this is not going to be your big industrial canning factory or biscuit factory. That is not where the economic stimulus is going to come. So a social enterprise, for those of you who may not be familiar with it, is one that takes a large percentage of its profits and reinvests them in the social impact activity that it is trying to provide. And in our particular case, the green market focused on SDG number 12. And I think this is another important point to make. SDG number 12 has been retranslated as responsible consumption and production. But in its early iteration, it was changing patterns of production and consumption. And this is critical to the development of an agribusiness and a better, more modern agricultural sector in the Caribbean, because we have become accustomed to Western diets, and we have become accustomed to that. And therefore, if you want people to eat cassava and dasheen and things like that, you have to change their pattern of consumption and production. And this is what we're trying to do. And this is a simultaneous educational activity that we have done through talks and experts at the Green Market. Next slide, please, Heather. Okay, so this just reiterates what we said. We were, and I'm very grateful for that, in this UNEP report, which is the United Nations Environmental Agency, that we, an organization that was putting several of the Sustainable Development Goals into action in what we're doing. There's definitely gender, poverty reduction, food security. And so we think about this, our activity in the green market, as a holistic activity of re-educating people about the environment, ecology, and their own nutritional kind of ecosystem that is required for us to eat what we produce and grow. Okay, next slide. Okay, these slides make me particularly happy because, as you will see, this is one of our success stories. And we've had several over the 10 years we've been in existence. This is Estrida Saunders. She came into the green market when we first started. And so that would have been 2012. She developed a very loyal and happy clientele, making her various cocoa products. She's actually from a cocoa producing family in Tamana, which is in central Trinidad. And you can see their cocoa drinks, and she had a really special cocoa tea with mint that was very, very popular. And, you know, she adapted her product as she went along for all the people who, you know, can't drink milk. And so we would change to almond milk and different kinds of things, and starting to investigate some of the nuts, the tropical nuts that could also provide milk. And what you see on the other side is Estrida's chocolate cafe bar. So she graduated and she has her own facility now. And this is the incubation that we think is very important. And, we're so proud of her and so happy for her success. Next slide, please. Right. And there is another one, Crystal Joseph. Now, Crystal uses many plants and flowers native to the Caribbean, some not, but usually a base of coconut oil, avocado oil, things that we produce in the Caribbean. And I put this long quote here, which I probably have to look in my own phone to be able to read, because she said, she recalled going to other markets and she said, by the end of March, I had sold out all of my products. And since then, I never missed a green market in Santa Cruz. And so she started to add scents. And when we do our local festivals, and this is an interesting point, so we would do a citrus festival, and we always ask all the vendors to try to bring something that is in keeping with our theme. And so then she started to do the citrus oils. This was, you see, the little bit of innovation that comes from requesting that they use the local products in what they're making, then gave her a real fillip. And this young woman is, she's in stores. We had an opportunity with Nudge, which is a showcase inside of our major supermarket in Trinidad and Tobago. And she became a part of that program. And now she is truly, I would say this is a very good example of somebody who is going to move from artisanal production to real small scale manufacturing, or could, if you care to.
Vicki, just to be mindful of time, could
Yes.
you give us a bit of where did this initiative? What was the thought of starting this initiative, and where do you want this initiative to go?
Okay, so what I would like, can you go back one slide? Just go back one slide. So that I can talk to it. Right. So we think that we have developed an organic methodology for incubating the size of these micro entrepreneurs. And so we seek them out, we promote them, we give them advice. They don't have any charge except their rental fee, and then we let them go. Okay. So, but the problem, and next slide, because this is the question you're asking, and it's exactly the one I asked myself. Exactly. What is the missing part of that puzzle? And the missing part is that in our small island, can't be the government. I'm not a bank. Just trying to prove a point about how you can incubate these people. And in order to do that, I did a little back of the envelope calculation, and $1 million, we're using about, and we have 40 vendors, we are spending about 20,000 TT dollars on marketing them, paying for the electricity, the landscape, and the advice. And that is money that we don't get back when they're successful. So that is, it's a flaw in some ways in the design, but there have been other efforts in, to help incubate projects. And I talked to a couple of them, and there's no follow-up. These vendors all come back in the green market. There's constant follow-up about their growth. And I would like to thank you very much for the opportunity to present the green market in all of its complexity.
No, it sounds like a great initiative, and I think we have some fans of yours here in the audience. We see that Brigitte Josephs is talking about that green market is such a great space, and Desdemona Smith is really talking to us about, yes, she completely agrees with you about re-educating and holism in that. Is there how do you plan to then, how would you use new investment to achieve this growth goal that you guys have?
Well, right now, and John Morris knows this, I am really looking for that revolving fund financial structure, so that by having an umbrella, by investing in the green market, I will then be able to add more value to and more precision to the micro entrepreneurs who come into this market, who all are, by the way, supporting the agricultural that we are trying to promote here in this conference, because they are the users of the coconut, the users of the pineapple, the users of the papaya for various and sundry things, whether it's juice or fruit or mix. We have a lot of people dehydrating. So the idea here would be to this time engage these micro entrepreneurs in a scheme that is loan like. I mean, you can say Grameen Bank, but loan like in its ability to pay back into the fund for the next generation of micro entrepreneurs, because as they graduate, there is a need to go out. And this is the part that's the really hard work of going out around the country to find the people who would be willing, for people to understand that we have a term, scrunting. It's they don't even want to pay the rent. The rent is already a difficulty. To pay a minimal amount of rent is difficult, but they do it, and they do it because they have now, after 10 years, they've seen the possibilities for their growth.
Exactly. Well, I think we definitely are very excited about what Green Market and to offer, and hopefully we will get the necessary engagement that we want here in this investor conference to really take Green Market from what it is to what it could be. So definitely, Vicki, we really want to thank you. We hope that I wish I was a little closer to Green Market, because there's a couple of products that I would definitely be buying there. As a cassava root enthusiast, I like it way more than potatoes. So
Yeah.
I definitely
Right there
wish
with
we
you.
were closer. So
Yeah.
thank you very much, Vicki.
Thank
And
you.
for all of our folks here, we'll be starting in with our new with our new company. Vicki, have a great day, and stay tuned for our next person. Thank you, Vicki.
Thank
Have
you
a great
so
day.
much. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye bye.